He brought along many of Mum Shirl's relatives, and we're going to ask Peter now and his relatives to come and share with us.
Well, I had to write a paper because I haven't got a memory like Auntie Millie. But just first off, I'd like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and thank Gordon and Elaine for the invite. It's a privilege to be here. And I just want to acknowledge my auntie, Coleen Perry, in the room, Uncle Laurie's wife, Mum Shirl's sister. And I had to write this out because my memory's not as good as that. My name's Peter Smith, and I'm one of Mum Shirl's grandchildren. With my brother Richard, who unfortunately couldn't attend the function today. I have 6 children: Patrick, Kylie, Pete, Lavinia, Colina and Jamia, and my lovely wife's name is Sherry. She's actually at the back of the room. She loves those. She hides. Growing up on Aboriginal Mission in Kempsey, I was sent to Bennelong Havens with my brother Richard at the age of 3 weeks. 3 weeks. That's when I was gone to Bennelong Havens. At that time in my life, my mother Beatrice had a few small problems. And we were rescued by Mummy Norma Lardner and Daddy Cecil Smith. If you know Daddy Cecil Smith, he was Mum Shirl's husband. And he was actually a professional boxer. 98 fights, 93 wins. Wasn't too bad.
Your father?
Grandfather, but yeah, he reared me up, so I call him Dad. Just like I call Mum Shirl Mum. And my other grandmother was Norma Lardner, I call her Mum, so I didn't have a grandmother. They were both my mums. Whilst attending Greenhill Public School, when I was about 5 years old, Mum Shirl came and visited Kempsey in a government car. This was never a one-off visit. She visited many times as she could. When and if she got a break from her, she'd visit many times, and when and if she got a break from her duties on occasions, Father Ted Kennedy would come with her. And I think probably everyone in the room would know Father Ted Kennedy.
Here.
He used to always travel with us sometimes when he could make it. Every time she would travel to Greenhill, all the kids from the mission would just pump around the car and who's this and what's that, and try and grab old aerials and all that sort of stuff. We was all kids then. So I just want to fast forward through to high school days. Richard and I would travel to Sydney for holidays, stay with Mum on Smith Street, Marrieville. And sometimes Mum would take us to 55 Cavendish Street. Now, I think everybody knows what 55 Cavendish Street is. That's where Mum had a house, where Nan lived. On occasions, we would visit her, Father Ted Kennedy, at the Redfern Church next to the AMS. This was on many happy, very happy occasions by seeing her. After meeting with my wife and having our first child, Patrick, only then did I know the true work that Nan was doing, and I wondered why every time we attended Cavendish Street, there were a mob of kids. There were kids everywhere. Black kids, white kids, even Chinaman was there. That's how many people, seriously, that's how many people in that house when we would visit. They were everywhere. I remember when there was a big celebration of Aboriginal Day in 1981, and 60 Minutes were doing a segment on, and I'm not sure whether it was Ray Martin or Ian Leslie done. Can anybody fix that up? It was down the park at Alexandria. 60 Minutes done a segment. I couldn't tell whether it was Ray Martin or Ian Leslie, but it was one of those two. This was the first opportunity for Nan to meet her first great-grandchild. She raised him in both arms in front of the television camera and said, "This is Patrick, my first great-grandchild." Because of this hard work and the reward she received has only made me and the rest of my family prouder and prouder of what hard work and what she was achieving for Aboriginal people throughout New South Wales, and probably throughout Australia in some words. On one occasion I recall being with Mum Shirl at Parliament House, this one, when Neville Rand failed to invite her for dinner. She got me to drive her down to Parliament House. She went through the front door like a Cyclone Shirley she is, and tipped Neville Rand's dinner straight on his chest. Neville Rand stood up and started going like this. Security looked at her, but she just kept walking straight past them. Neville Rand said, "Don't do nothing, she'll hinder you blokes." So she walked out. I'm at the front, parked at the front of Parliament House with P plates on, frightened of the police going to grab me and everything. Anyway, and I recall one day my wife and I went to Cavendish Street with Patrick, and Nan was just getting sick with dementia at the time. There was a certain carer that told me Mum is a bit sick and I had to have an appointment. A grandson, this person wasn't even a granddaughter or grandson or whatever, told me that I had to have an appointment to see my grandmother. I told her what I thought of her, as I would, and pushed the door open and walked straight into Nan's room to say hello with Sherry and Pat. I remember her offering the dress. Remember the dress, Dale?
Yeah.
I remember her offering the dress that Neil Diamond bought to my wife. Sherry said quiet words, "Peter, it's too old for me to wear." And she said, "I don't want it," but she grabbed it. We took it and we put it back in the wardrobe where Mum went to lay down. And you know what, seriously, I could have sold that dress today for a lot of money. Neil Diamond, for crying out loud. Yeah, I never thought about it back then. An old dress, who wants it? But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people want it today. Over the years I've met many of Nan's friends and colleagues. She spoke very highly of many of her friends and colleagues, especially Father Ted Kennedy and a very trusted friend, Elaine, Siren Polite. Elaine was a very trusted friend of Mum. She's always told us that before she got sick, and my mother even said the same thing. Who over many years had painted and drew pictures and taken photos of Mum Shirl for all rights movement. She trusted Elaine with her life. I have a lot of memories, however, I will move on, watching Nan from that visit with that dress, weeks and months, deteriorating with dementia. Until her passing, I sat and reflected on the footsteps of Redfern Church and what she had done over many, many years with pride. The most important part of my life was when Patrick is my oldest son, when Richard, Patrick and I carried the coffin out of the church and laid it to rest, and may you rest forever, Nan, in peace. Thank you.